F175 has finally happened. Formula One has stepped into a new era, one full of music, one full of actors, one full of humor as well, with all the drivers getting a big roast on their big day, especially Max Verstappen and George Russell. And Charles Leclerc had Jack Whitehall chasing him for the entire night, and that made it such a special evening, along with all the incredible launches we had and the music, which some people clearly didn't like, but I think it was quite good. But let's get a consensus of what the entire mood of F175 was. I'll start with you. I want to know particularly, right, and this is something I'm very curious about, which for you was the most forgettable launch over the entire period?
Wow. I would say it's a tie between Red Bull Racing and Sauber. The Sauber thing just didn't make too much sense to me. It was, again, one of those things that we'll just keep doing what we're doing till we become Audi. So it seemed that to me. But talking of Red Bull, again, it seemed like what, Uttara from our social media team said. It seemed like a Ganpati Visarjan happening. Again, they didn't know what they were doing. So everyone was just, randomly dancing, and they realized that Max is anyway not going to appreciate whatever they do. So might as well do random things.
And random dressing as well, Sundaram. Liam Lawson, he just came dressed up for the biggest occasion in all of Formula One's history in terms of an entertainment viewpoint, in jeans and a normal sweatshirt.
I mean, that really caught my eye because on one side you have a Lewis Hamilton who's properly decked up. Sure, he does that even on normal race weekends as well. But on the flip side, you have a Liam Lawson keeping it very casual. But the moment their intro music started, I kind of understood what kind of theme they're going ahead with. But I actually like the variety, even in the sort of entries of every single team. That was something that was very different. It was super fun.
I cannot imagine any other company apart from WWE that's taken sports to such a grandiose level in the way Liberty Media is doing with Formula One. Like Louis Vuitton cases for the World Constructors Championship trophy. How incredible is that? And Gordon Ramsay attending the event along with so many other film stars, and them having a red carpet and drivers being allowed to do donuts on the red carpet as well, which is what Yuki Tsunoda did. It's a proper star-studded affair full of music, full of entertainment, full of lights, sound, a live audience as well. I think these are things that cricket can learn from, that football can learn from, or any other sport for that matter.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I like that in the opening sequence, instead of talking of Lewis Hamilton being seen for the first time in red Ferrari colors, we've actually spoken of the Red Bull drivers, Max Verstappen, Liam Lawson, and Yuki Tsunoda. I think Yuki was just being, a badass about it. He said, you can't promote me, but I'm going to do everything I can and challenge you to demote me. Okay. With all those donuts he did. I absolutely loved the event. And I'll be honest, I didn't go in with too much expectation.
When the event was first announced a couple of months ago, I think everyone unanimously said, like, yeah, why do we want this? And I think that's kind of become the pattern right now. At any time F1 does something, there's initially a lot of resistance. It even started with their logo and a lot, even with the halo. So there's initial resistance, but then people start accepting it. And once they see how much it offers, they start liking it a lot more. So similarly, in my mind, I was like, yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to like this. And like we discussed yesterday, we were not going to watch this. We were going to sleep and then probably catch the highlights in the morning. But then I was awake at 1:30 and then I'm like, let me just watch the first 5 minutes and then I'll figure what to do. I'll be very honest. The way he actually began in the first 3 minutes and he was so confident, so witty about it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit and watch the entire episode because this was so much fun. And that is something I did not expect. I think they would have done a lot of rehearsals because they barely had any time to shift cars from for each team. And it seemed like a well rehearsed, well executed event. And overall, I think I would give it a good 7 or 8 out of 10.
This 7 or 8 out of next, I've never understood these ratings. I always go awry with it. But the fact that it's never happened before and they could pull it off, Liberty Media pulled it off, I would actually say a 10 on 10. Even though every team had those 7 minutes to showcase themselves, they did it in their own ways, their own colors, their own stories. I loved how every team was different. And that's what Formula One is about, right? To have each team, each driver have their own identity. And I love that the teams also put aside their own agenda and did this event. Even though the 2025 cars were not launched, it was only the 2025 livery. The teams will still do their car launches. Even though this was available free to air live streaming pretty much every platform in the world, close to 5 million people that tuned in. Again, shows the power that if F1 was not behind the paywall, maybe there were more people who would, be watching it. That live roasting, truth be told, that's the live roasting we do on our podcast through banter. But for somebody to sit there and stand in front of Lewis Hamilton and Toto Wolff and talk of their divorce and reunion elsewhere and whatever, and then talk of Max Verstappen not loving such events and the beef with George Russell, and do it in a friendly way that even the drivers feel involved. I think I really loved that.
This sort of spectacle is phenomenal. And I'd say it's a success because ultimately, looking at an audience that I'm very familiar with, people of my age, right? I remember back in school, nobody used to watch Formula One. It was something that you'd see at the back of every sports magazine for a couple of pages, and that's about it. That's the only place it had. But now suddenly, people are sharing these interactions, these launches, these liveries, all on their stories. They're talking about this in groups. F175 then, guys, hot or not? I'm saying too hot. It's amazing. Love the music, love the fanfare, love the drama around it, love the music and the whole atmosphere and the fans being given a voice. I think this is what Formula One needs. And this is a step into a new era. We're only going to go higher from here.
Samuel mentioned he loved the music twice. So it just goes to show the sort of generation gap that I for one, did not particularly enjoy the music, but you said it twice. You really enjoyed the music. So
the first part, not the final act, yeah.
No, from me as well. F175, hot.
I would say very, very hot. I would love to see how they can, continue with this, how they can better it. And I love that the teams literally and the drivers made time for it, because preseason actually is a very, very busy time for them. So much that the Ferrari trio that attended flew to Italy literally hours after the event to do the F1 75, launched this afternoon at Fiorano as well. Lewis Hamilton's first laps in the 2025 Ferrari as well. So the very fact that they made time for it also is a great indicator of the fact that everyone's coming together to grow Formula One as a sport first.